I think you're going to really like this because this is a totally true story. And it's got a lot to do with video journalism and VJs and cameras and tranquilizers and drug companies. A fantastic story. It's completely true. Around the year 2000 or 2001 or 2002, I don't know, it's a long time ago, I was working for Oxygen Media. Oxygen was the Oprah channel. Jerry Laybourne was just getting started. It was at the Chelsea market. They had fantastic offices, and they weren't even on the air. We were just putting the thing together, and I was there to train the staff to shoot and cut their own stuff. Anyway, one day while we're working with the Oxygen staff, this woman comes in, and she comes to me and she goes, "You're a TV producer, right?" I went, "Sure, why not?" And she said, I have a friend at this advertising agency across the street in Chelsea, and they're looking for a TV producer to do some commercial spots. Would you be interested in doing that? And I thought, why not? I'll go. So she go across, so we got a meeting, went across the street. It was a very fancy building with, glass and steel and polished concrete and a lot of people running around suits and stuff. And so I went into the meeting, and it was in this big conference room. There were probably 20 people in there. And the woman who runs it says to me, "We are representing Pfizer Pharmaceuticals for Zoloft," which is a tranquilizer, probably half of New York takes. And she said, "And we want to do these spots like 60 minutes where you'll be a reporter and you go with a microphone and you interview people about using Zoloft." And I turned to her, I said, "That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life." She goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "That is a terrible idea. That's old, 60 minutes. Are you out of your mind? The thing's from the 1960s. And so she said, "Well, what would you do?" Well, we had just started doing these like reality shows like Trauma and stuff like that, where we put VJs with little cameras into people's homes. So I said, I would take some of my VJs and I would stick them in somebody's home who's using Zoloft and let them stay there for a week or so and shoot everything that happens and then squash it down to a minute. And that's how I would do it. And so all the people in the room, all these ad agency guys in their suits and stuff, they're going, "That's not what we promised the client. We can't do that," screaming. So I turned to my assistant. I said, "Let's get out of here. It's a total waste of time." So we went back across the street to Oxygen, and about an hour later, this woman from the ad agency calls, and she says, "How much would you charge to do that?" I don't know. I never did a commercial before in my life. So I went to Lara, and I said, "You figure out what it really cost and multiply by 10, and we'll send them a price." So, we sent them, I said $350,000 to make 3 one-minute videos. And they came back and they said, okay. And then later, people in the ad agency business told me I could have charged $3.5 million to do the thing. Anyway, so I got 3 of my VJs who we trained, cut the carrots and all that stuff. And we said, we're going to go and, live in these 3 houses for a week and stay with the families and shoot them with the Zoloft and whatever great life they have, and they'll jam it all together. So the first day of the first shoot, at the first family that we picked out, I showed up and my guy shows up, and then the people from the ad agency show up and the people from Pfizer show up, a lot of executives in cars. And they get out, and I got my guy with the little camera, and that's all I got. And the woman from the ad agency goes nuts. She goes, "This is not a professional operation. I thought I was hiring a professional producer. You have 24 hours to fix this." Fix it. So I called a friend of mine in the business, and I said, I don't know. I don't want to lose this thing. I don't know what to do. He said, "I'll solve your problem for $50,000. So I thought, better than nothing. So I wrote him a check for $50,000. And the next day, the people from the ad agency came, and the people from Pfizer came, and then this guy that I knew, this giant truck showed up. This giant black truck showed up, and they opened the back doors, and out came like women with racks of clothing and irons and a lunch table and breakfast and muffins and guys running around with ear things and clipboards and lights and all kinds of crap. And the people from Pfizer and the people from the ad agency said, "Whoa, that's much better. Now we have a professional operation." And they all went away. And then all the people got back in the back of the truck, and the truck drove away, and it was just my guy with the camera. So I stuck him in the house, and he shot for a week, and we put the thing together, and they loved it. It was fantastic. So we did 3 of them. We got paid. I gave the guy the 50. I kept 300. I had to give something to the VJs. And that could have been the end of the story. But, something about it annoyed me. So I wrote a letter to the chairman and the CEO of Pfizer, and I essentially said, the ad agency is screwing you. You don't have to pay millions of dollars. Your own people could learn how to make these videos by themselves, and I will teach them how to do it. So we went up and we had a big meeting at their headquarters, which is an Armonk or something, and I explained the whole idea. And then they hired me to come and teach their staff to make video on their own. Well, of course, didn't make me the best friends of the ad agency, but let's be honest, to make video, today, all it takes is an iPhone and some instruction. And of course, the market for it is enormous. I don't know if you can still charge $3.5 million. Maybe you can. But in point of fact, you have with your iPhone, you got a 4K camera. You got the ability to edit in how you put in graphics, you put in music. You can share it with the world. You can send it to clients. It's a fantastic and very simple thing to do. These days of directors and producers, when I hear the word DP, director of photography, I throw up. Also, director makes me throw up. It's a lot of crap. Anybody can make video, but you can make great video if we get a little instruction, which of course what the VJ is all about. But this is a totally true story, and you can do this yourself. You don't need me for this, although I would like to help you to do it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it's for Zoloft. I hope you're not taking Zoloft. And if you are, try shooting video instead. You'll find it a much more calming experience. I'll talk to you later.